All right, I'm going to talk about a very big mindset obstacle right now. This obviously is going to affect your money mindset, but it also affects your ability to achieve your next level goals. And what I'm talking about is our tendency to try to figure out how we are going to achieve things that we have not previously achieved for ourselves before. So when you think about this in a really practical way, we learn how to do certain things. And once we've learned how to do those things, now our mind has a frame of reference. And then if we decide that we're going to do that thing again, we feel confident in our ability. So if we break it down to really, really basic stuff, when you learned how to tie your shoes, you started with an intention. I am going to learn how to tie my shoes. Now, it may have been pushed on you, but you would have resisted it and probably not been a very good student until you at least had enough internal conviction. I'm going to do this for myself. Now, as you're watching this process and you're attempting to refine all of those subtle motor skills, and you are starting to think a couple steps ahead so that you can become more proficient, and then you practice, and you're improving your skills and you're building all of those neural networks in your brain. Well, over time, you develop a sense of confidence and certainty. I've got this. All I need to do is set the intention that I'm going to tie my shoes, and I'm confident that I can do that. Now, when we're talking about things that we have not previously achieved, like setting a new financial goal or creating something new in your business, your mind has no frame of reference for that. So the mind will, by default, look within its memory banks, so to speak, for the how. And it's going to try to pull data and information from anything that seems like it might be somewhat relevant. So if you are setting a brand new financial goal, maybe you've never made $1 million and you'd love to make $1 million. So now your mind is saying, okay, well, how have I made money before? The obvious answer to that is probably going to be something like, well, I worked really hard and I spent all of this time and I traded time for money. And now you're looking at your current circumstances and you're looking back at your previous experiences, all that stuff that's stored in your memory bank. And you're saying to yourself, there is no way that I could put in enough hours to generate an income of $1 million+ dollars. There's just not enough time in the day. It's just not possible. And so your mind then might look for a couple other known ways of creating additional money, maybe to create some type of new product, some training, something in addition to your normal thing that you do. How can you scale up? But again, it's within those limited constructs of what your mind already knows. We bump up against massive internal resistance when we are trying to figure out how. And that is why in many different trainings, programs, books, schools of thought, whether it's metaphysical or practical, you will hear people talk about you do not need to know how. And it seems really counterintuitive because that's the way our mind works. Our mind wants to know how. But let me just help you to create a little bit of a mindset shift so you can be more open to possibilities that have not yet come into your current reality. So if you're setting a new goal for yourself, and for the sake of this program, we're talking about money. And for the sake of this example, I'm just going to use $1 million. But if your goal is $100,000, $500,000, if your goal is $5 million, if your goal is $100 million, does not matter what the goal is, you can replace the numbers. But what I want you to just feel into for a moment is, how does it feel when you have it? How will you feel when you have it? When you have the $1 million, how does that feel? Now, the mind might try to jump into, well, how? I don't even know how that's possible. So I can't even allow myself to go into that feeling. When you feel that resistance, remember to use the tools, say yes to it. Let it come up, let it pass through. Come on up, resistance. Come on up. I know you're trying to figure out how. And ask yourself, I'm going to ask you right now, could you let go of trying to figure out how? Could you let go of trying to figure it out? Your mind does not know. But there's a lot of things that your mind hasn't known when you embarked on something new, and the way to it came to you. So could you let go of being so smart and thinking you know the only ways possible for you to create that new level of income? You're not that smart. You don't have that information in your mind yet. But there is a way. There's a way for anything and everything. Everything was just a thought before it became something in this physical reality as we know it. There was a time when cell phones did not exist. There was a time when the old first telephone didn't exist. It started with an idea. It started with a why. Why did they even want to create that technology? What could it do for them and for others? So when you have this level of financial freedom, what does that do for you? What does that do for your family? How does that improve the quality of your life? So now I'm going to ask you again, how does it feel to have the $1 million? Or whatever your number is, how does it feel? Let's just say that everything that you need to get from where you are right now to having that is going to come to you, meaning the people, the circumstances, the opportunities, the ideas, all of that is going to start to fall into place. And just like how you have to take every step to get to your destination, you don't just instantly manifest yourself in a different destination. Let's think of this as the practical steps to get from where you are to where you want to be, even if they seem like big quantum leap opportunities compared to what you've done in the past. It is possible, and it has happened in other areas of your life before. So how does it feel when you have it? How good does it feel to have that level of income, that level of wealth, that amount of money? How does it feel? So now once we identify our reason, the why. So a lot of people teach, what is your why? You need to be very clear on your why. And the reason for that is because you have to have something emotionally charged, positive, powerful, emotionally charged to latch onto to get you through the mindset obstacles that tend to come up. All of those, but how? It's not possible. I don't see a way. All the things that the mind does, because that's the way that the mind works, you need something powerful that you can really latch onto emotionally Think of it as almost like if you're in the ocean and all around you is just miles and miles and miles of open ocean. You need something to hold on to keep you afloat, because you're going to get tired. You're not going to be able to keep yourself afloat indefinitely. So having that thing to hold on to is going to keep you afloat. So your why really is that saving grace. It is the inspiration, the motivation, the conviction to keep you afloat when your old patterns and programs are pulling you down. So now I'm going to encourage you to get really, really, really clear on why you want this. Why do you want to have financial freedom? How is that going to positively impact your life? Who besides yourself is that going to benefit? Your family, your friends, clients, customers? Is there a cause that you are truly passionate about? And I want you to really think about this objectively for a moment. If you don't have that level of financial freedom, can you give as fully as you could if you did have that level of financial freedom? How does having that level of financial freedom change the quality of the person you really are meant to be? So now, as you get in touch with the why, and if you need to take some time and actually do this exercise in your notebook, really, really get into it, feel with conviction why it is so valuable, so important for you to allow yourself to elevate your financial consciousness. And then when you have the why, you've got to remember your vehicle for getting there is your business, okay? And the how will present itself in little steps, okay? You may have the inspiration to go somewhere and you happen to connect with someone who just so happens to be doing something that provides you with a new opportunity to expand your business in a way that you hadn't previously considered before. Now, as you start to get into the mindset of, I don't have to know how, the how will show itself to me. I just have to remember my conviction. I have to remember my why. I have to be in the vibration of, this feels amazing to have the $1 million, to have the X number of dollars, to have this level of wealth, okay? And if you encounter additional resistance along the way, I'm going to encourage you to use your tools, right? Go through this process. If you identify that there is a specific belief that keeps pulling you down, use your tools and start to clear on that belief. And after you've done that, come back to your why, come back to your conviction, come back to the feeling of, I know where I'm going. Right? If I set the intention, okay, I'm going to go on vacation to San Diego or to Miami, there are certain steps that I'm going to need to take in order to get from wherever I am to whatever that destination is. So there's a logical sequence of events that is going to follow. But if I don't know where my destination is, I can't get there. So you've got to get clear on, what is the goal? Where am I going and why? So if I just said, well, I want to go to Miami, but I didn't really have a strong why, I didn't know, what am I going to do there? I didn't even feel really emotionally inspired to go to Miami. I just said, oh, I'm going to go to Miami. Well, I'm not going to do what I need to do and overcome any resistance along the way in order to get from where I am to Miami. So you've got to take the time to get clear on the why and the what. Okay. So the why is, what is this going to do for you? How is changing your financial reality going to improve not only your life, but the lives of everyone who you come in contact with, or at very least, the people who are the most important people in your life? That's your why. The what is, where am I going? That's the goal. So it might be $1 million. It might be, I am just setting a goal for myself to earn $200,000 in, in the next year or in this year. Okay. Remember, we've talked about this before, your goals will change. They will increase. So once you achieve your $200,000 goal or your $1 million goal or your $5 million goal, or even possibly on the way to creating that outcome, you're going to up level. You're going to up level that goal, but the process is always the same. Why? Why and what? And surrender and release the how, because the universe is going to take care of showing you the way. It's going to provide you with everything you need: the mentors, the books, the trainings, the opportunities, the right connections. It's going to start to put all of these pieces on your path that is going to help you to get from where you are to where you are going.